Netanyahu's defiance puts US-Israel relations on edge. Biden's Rafah ultimatum gets quashed by Tel Aviv. Will the US stop sending arms to Israel? After Netanyahu's wild remark.
אם נצטרך לעמוד לבד, נעמוד לבד. אמרתי כבר שאם צריך נילחם בציפורניים, אבל יש לנו הרבה יותר מאשר ציפורניים. ובאותן תעצומות נפש, בעזרת השם, יחד ננצח.
Yesterday, the US President Joe Biden threatened to cut off arms sales to Israel if the country carried out significant ground operation in Rafah. And now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has asserted that his country is capable of operating and fighting alone, and it will also fight with fingernails when necessary, totally nixing Biden's warning to Israel. "We are going to stand by ourselves if necessary," he was quoted by the BBC as saying, "I have said that if necessary, we will fight with our fingernails." Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu disregarded Washington's warning on Thursday, though drew comparisons to the 1948 conflict. As per Netanyahu, there was no one to defend Israel 80 years ago. Then Israel survived. Even this time, Israel will win. Netanyahu stated, and we quote, "In the War of Independence, 76 years ago, we were few against the many." He added, "We did not have any weapons. There was an arm embargo on Israel, but with great strength of spirit, heroism and unity among us, we were victorious." He further stated that Israel has much more than fingernails if the US president stops arms shipments. Netanyahu even added that no international pressure can stop Israel from war against Hamas. This development came hours after UN stated that more than 80,000 people have fled Rafah since Monday amid constant bombardment by Israel, according to the BBC reports. The world was shaken by the reports that Israeli tanks have entered in Rafah, Gaza, as Israel's inevitable warning began to materialize. Israeli tanks advanced into the southern city and took control of the nearby Egyptian border, which has been a vital entry point for humanitarian aid and the only way out for those who have been able to escape since the start of the war in October last year. Following that, US President Joe Biden stated for the first time that he will cease arming Israel if Netanyahu gives the order of a major attack on Rafah. The American president also admitted in an interview that the civilians in Gaza were killed by the weapons Washington provided to Israel. Biden stated, and we quote, "Those bombs and other ways they target population centers have resulted in the death of civilians in Gaza." He further added that "I'm not supplying the weapons that have been used historically to deal with Rafah, to deal with the cities that deal with the problem," Biden stated, even though they haven't gone into Rafah yet. Additionally, the US had already stopped supplying Israel with bombs. Despite advice to the contrary from the US government, growing fears that Israel is about to launch a full-scale assault on the southern Gaza city of Rafah prompted the United States to decide last week to halt a scheduled shipment of bombs to Israel. Due to the sensitivity of the situation, the senior administration official of Biden spoke on the condition of anonymity, disclosing the decision. Concerns about the possible use of larger explosive in Rafah's heavily populated urban environment has caused the shipment to halt, which included approximately 1,800 to 2,000 pound bombs and 1,700 500-pound bombs, which are now postponed. As Netanyahu stands resolute on the Rafah offensive, the tensions now appear to be escalating between Bibi and Uncle Sam.